Howard Piano, where all the folks go. Piano tech or hobbyist, we're sure to have what's on your list. Parts, tools, accessories, come get 'em if you please. At Howard Piano Industries.
Welcome to the Howard Piano Podcast. I'm your host, Benji, and in our very first episode, we're diving into the fascinating history of one of the most beloved instruments in the world, the piano. Today, we're focusing on the incredible journey that began in the early 1700s with an Italian named Bartolomeo Cristofori, the brilliant inventor credited with creating the first true piano. Disclaimer time. All expressions of opinion and all statements of supposed fact are published on the authority of the author, me, and are not to be regarded as expressing the view of Howard Piano Industries or the Piano Technicians Guild. Before we delve into what little is known about the life of Cristofori, it's essential to understand the instrument that paved the way for the piano, the harpsichord. This exquisite instrument emerged in the late 14th century and reached its peak popularity during the Renaissance and Baroque periods. The harpsichord produces sound through a unique mechanism. When a key is pressed, it triggers a plectrum to pluck a string, creating a bright and resonant tone. This plectrum is made of quill or plastic, and its design is crucial for achieving the instrument's characteristic sound. Unlike the piano, which strikes strings with hammers, the harpsichord's plucking mechanism results in a more percussive quality. One fascinating tidbit about the harpsichord is its ability to produce sound in varying volumes by using different registrations. Registrations refer to the different combinations of strings and stops that can be engaged to alter the sound of the harpsichord. Each registration affects the volume, timbre, and the character of the sound produced. Some harpsichords feature multiple sets of strings, allowing the player to choose which ones to engage, known as choirs. Many harpsichords have single or double choirs. Using a single choir yields a softer sound, while engaging both creates a fuller, richer tone. This adds an extra layer of expressiveness, even though the overall dynamic range is more limited compared to the piano. Harpsichords feature stops that can be pulled or pushed to modify the sound. Common stops include plucked or plectrum stops, control which strings are plucked and affect the brightness. Mute stops, which dampen certain strings for a softer effect, and mixture stops, which engage multiple choirs for a complex and harmonically rich sound. This ability to change registrations added expressiveness and richness to performances, making the harpsichord a versatile instrument during the Renaissance and Baroque periods. Composers often wrote music to exploit these tonal variations, allowing performers to create a wide range of moods and dynamics. Now, let's dive into the life of Bartolomeo Cristofori and explore how his innovations transformed music forever. Due to my hillbilly phonetics, we will refer to Cristofori as Bart from here on out. So who was Bart? Born in 1655 in Padua, Italy, Bart began his career as a harpsichord maker, and it was his intimate knowledge of this instrument that inspired his innovations. By the late 1690s, the desire for a keyboard instrument that could express a wider range of dynamics was brewing. Bart began developing the first piano, introducing a mechanism that struck the strings rather than plucked them, allowing for greater expressive potential. Bart's journey into piano invention took a turn around 1700. It was during this time that he created the Gravicembalo col piano e forte, which translates to harpsichord with soft and loud. It's a mouthful, I know, but it reflects the revolutionary idea that you could control the volume simply by varying the force with which you struck the keys. Think pianissimo versus mezzo forte. The names pianoforte and forte piano were used interchangeably in the 18th century. The name was shortened even further around 1830 to just plain piano. Now, picture young Bart tinkering away in his workshop. He was a bit of a mad scientist, meticulously experimenting with materials and mechanics. He used hammers covered in leather that struck the strings, allowing for this new dynamic range. He was fascinated by the mechanics of sound and dedicated years to perfecting his design. Now, Bart faced many challenges. Imagine him trying to convince patrons of his new creation in a world that was used to the familiar sounds of the harpsichord. As the saying goes, fear of the unknown is often worse than the unknown itself. But he had some powerful connections. His work caught the attention of the Medici family, who were known for their support of the arts and sciences. In fact, it's rumored that the Grand Prince Ferdinando de' Medici owned one of Cristofori's early pianos. The prince was so impressed that he arranged for Bart to be the keeper of his pianos, providing him with a steady income and resources to continue refining his invention. How's that for royal endorsement? As Bart's invention began to gain traction, other innovators joined the fray. One notable figure was Johann Andreas Stein, a German builder who significantly improved the piano's action. Born in 1728 in Augsburg, Germany, Stein introduced the Viennese action, which allowed for greater speed and responsiveness, perfect for the virtuosic demands of composers like Mozart and later Beethoven. Speaking of Beethoven, he was an early adopter of the new pianos. His compositions pushed the boundaries of what was possible on the instrument, showcasing its range and expressive capabilities. Can you imagine the thrill of hearing Moonlight Sonata for the first time on one of these early pianos? It would sound incredibly different compared to a modern rendition for several reasons, but that's for a later episode. Another significant contributor was Gottfried Silbermann, a contemporary of Bach, born on January 2nd, 1683, in Kleinbruch, a small village in Saxony. Silbermann's pianos gained a reputation for their fine craftsmanship, and his innovations laid the groundwork for the modern grand piano. His instruments were praised by Bach himself, who noted their potential for dynamic expression. Now, let's not forget some of the unique quirks of these early pianos. Many of them had a range of about 5 octaves, which seems small by today's standards, but was absolutely groundbreaking at the time. They didn't have a cast iron frame, which resulted in lower string tension, about a quarter of the string tension in modern pianos. Consistent tonality across instruments was difficult to achieve due to the variety of leathers being used, possessing different qualities of softness and hardness, a far cry from our high-quality compressed felt hammers from makers like Abel and Ronson used in modern pianos. Imagine a concert pianist of the day, like virtuoso Muzio Clementi, mastering the limits of this new instrument. The 19th century marked the golden age of the piano, with technological advancements transforming the instrument into a powerful tool for expression. Among these advancements was the double escapement action, invented by a French maker, Sébastien Érard, in the early 19th century. So what exactly is the double escapement action? In simple terms, it allows the pianist to strike a key repeatedly without needing to release it fully. This innovation enables rapid repetition of notes, crucial for executing complex passages and pieces by composers like Liszt. Before this, pianists had to fully release a key before striking it again, which limited speed and fluidity. With Érard's mechanism, a pianist could perform rapid runs and trills with greater ease, adding a whole new level of expressiveness to piano playing. This was a real game changer for the piano world. Sebastian's designs were highly sought after, and his pianos became synonymous with quality and precision. Even today, many modern pianos trace their lineage back to his innovations. Piano makers became artists in their own right, crafting instruments that were not only tonally beautiful, but also visually stunning. Decorative elements such as intricate woodwork and gold leaf became very common. Pianos were no longer just instruments, they were status symbols. In this era, the piano became the centerpiece of social gatherings. Picture the salons of Paris, filled with eager listeners captivated by the music of composers like Chopin and Liszt. Their compositions pushed the boundaries of what the piano could do, inspiring generations of musicians and composers. During this time, the piano also became an educational tool. Many families ensured their children learned to play, believing it to be a necessary skill for social refinement. The sound of pianos echoed through homes, filling lives with music and joy. As we move into the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the piano became a staple in middle-class homes, paving the way for the rise of piano factories. Companies like Broadwood in England and Steinway & Sons in the United States began producing pianos on a larger scale. As we approach the 20th century, it's essential to consider the impact of historical events on piano production. Before World War I, piano manufacturing was booming, with factories employing skilled craftsmen focused on producing pianos at scale versus independent builders. In the US, many pianos were built in New York City, where factories like Steinway became renowned for their quality. Immigrant workers, particularly from Germany and Eastern Europe, played a crucial role in the manufacturing process, contributing their skills to the art of piano making. Their influence is evident in the craftsmanship that went into every piano produced during this time. However, with the onset of World War II in 1939, the piano industry faced a significant crisis. The shortage of materials, particularly metals and woods, forced many manufacturers to halt production altogether. From 1939 to 1945, factories transitioned to making war supplies. With skilled workers enlisting in the military, factories experienced labor shortages. Despite these challenges, some companies, like Baldwin and Steinway, managed to maintain limited production, ensuring that the legacy of piano craftsmanship endured. One interesting story from this era involves the Steinway factory. During the war, Steinway shifted its production methods to conserve resources. They even experimented with alternative materials, including wood from lesser-known sources, to keep up with demand while adhering to wartime restrictions. After the war, Steinway had a backlog of orders, and many of those pianos were made with a unique blend of materials that had been sourced during the war, resulting in a distinctive sound that some enthusiasts still celebrate today. Another tidbit comes from Baldwin Piano Company, founded in 1862. During the early 20th century, Baldwin was known for producing high-quality pianos that were favored by many concert pianists of the time. However, during the Great Depression, the company faced severe financial difficulties. Rather than cut corners on quality, Baldwin made the bold decision to invest in better materials and craftsmanship. This decision paid off in the long run, as it solidified their reputation for excellence. Many musicians chose Baldwin pianos not only for their sound, but also for their reliability and durability. The story of Baldwin's and Steinway's resilience and commitment to the quality during rough times is a testament to the spirit of innovation that defines piano manufacturing. After the war, the piano industry slowly began to recover, but it had changed forever. The post-war era saw a surge in demand for pianos as families sought to fill their homes with music once again. Now, I'd like to leave a little room at the end of these episodes for personal anecdotes and reflections. Let's create a space for answering questions from previous episodes or taking suggestions from you for future episodes. For this first episode, I'd like to share a bit of my own journey with you. I started playing when I was 17. My first instrument was a Yamaha YPG 525 keyboard, which opened up a world of music for me. I felt overwhelmed and a little frightened by the lack of knowledge I possessed when it came to performance, and my lack of understanding of music in general. As I grew more passionate about music, I upgraded to used Roland keyboards, real pianos, and even formed a local band. Let me tell you, some of the best people I've ever met came from that experience. We shared a deep love of music, and those jam sessions were filled with creativity, laughter, and unforgettable memories. Time passed, and we all went in different directions, and I wandered for some time. But like many, I faced the reality of adulthood. I felt the pressure to get a real job, so I ended up working in a federal prison for nearly a decade. It was a challenging environment, and while I learned a lot, I met some great people along the way, I soon realized that I was deeply unhappy. Then, when COVID-19 hit, it became a wake-up call for me. The isolation and uncertainty made me reflect on what truly mattered in my life. I rediscovered my love for music with support from my wonderful wife and found a way into piano technology. It was like a light bulb went off. This was my purpose. I've since dedicated myself to this craft with enthusiasm. I'm now in my second year of apprenticeship and currently prepping for the registered piano technician exams. I'm really grateful to be working with Howard Piano Industries and to be afforded the opportunity to hone my skills daily. I have an immense amount of respect for Steve and all the content he made for us over the years. He has helped countless people. It's been an incredible journey so far, but it hasn't been without its obstacles and pitfalls. I want to share those experiences with you so that you won't have to stumble through the same challenges I did. Whether it's navigating the technical aspects of piano repair, understanding the intricacies of piano action, or simply finding the right resources to support your journey, I'm here for the ride. I'm still in the infancy of my journey, but I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded by brilliant minds with decades of experience. My only intention is to provide responsible, citable answers based on the collective intelligence of those that came before me. Music has a way of connecting us all, and I believe that everyone deserves the chance to explore their passion, just as I have. I recently graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Music Production, and with some luck, I'll be an RPT with the PTG soon. Gotta love those acronyms. I've shared these parts of myself to remind you that at any point in your journey, you can decide to alter your course. Define your path. Do what you love. As we wrap up our journey today, let's remember that the piano is more than just an instrument. It's a bridge connecting generations of musicians, composers, and music lovers. From Bart's humble beginnings to the grand concert halls of today, the evolution of the piano is a testament to human creativity and innovation. In our next episode, Piano Technology, a Beginner's Playbook, we'll explore resources, tools, and organizations that can help anyone interested in the world of piano technology. I'll introduce you to essential tools for maintenance and repair, suggest some fantastic books to guide your learning, and highlight organizations that foster community and education in the piano world. So whether you're a hobbyist, a budding technician, or just someone curious about how these beautiful instruments work, I invite you to join me. Remember, the world of piano technology is inclusive and welcoming to all skill levels, and I can't wait to explore it together. Until then, keep the music playing, and remember, there's a little bit of history in every note you play. See you next time on the Howard Piano Podcast.